Okay, hi again. Well, I'm Haifa, as you all know by now. I'm a senior lecturer at the School of Computing Science and Engineering at Salford University, and I've been there since 1992, a long time. And people been saying to me, get out, go somewhere. Well, I do get out and about in a way. I'm not always at Salford. Yeah, in a way, been up and down, and I've been through certain journeys, some good, some bad, but I'm still there. Okay, the talk I'm going to present today is mainly about the research we've done a couple of years ago, over a few years, and covered a number of projects. Just going to take you through background to the projects we've done, mainly about women in engineering and science. A little bit of literature. As academics, we love literature, and whatever we publish, we need to take other people's points of view and supportive or contradictive. A bit about organizational cultures in the engineering industry, barriers, good practice, perception of women leadership. It's all about data we've collected during the research we've done. Some quantitative questionnaires as well as qualitative interviews. We've done three different projects over the time. One we call it DFE, Developing Female Engineers. We started by talking to academics at the university and engineers in different industries. Then we've done the Women Northwest Engineering, mainly focused on women in the industry, talking to employees as well as employers, directors and human resources people. We did talk in all the projects to men and women to see the difference in opinions as well, so we did not just interview or question women as such. The last project we've done was Women in Audio-Video Engineering. We called it the WAVE. Again, it's a very difficult situation there. By the end of the project, I thought, there's no go for women in audio-video. Sorry, Wilfred. Because the situation there completely different in a way from the other sectors. But I'm going to mostly focus on the middle one, the women in Northwest Engineering. As usual with research, we've done the literature review and then collect data using different procedures and analyze that data and wrote a hefty report. The report I'm still keeping to myself really because I'm still publishing out of that academic publications. So we've got a book chapter coming out soon about women in engineering, hurdles and aids. It's going to be published in an Australian book on women in science and engineering. But I could give you a copy if you want, sometimes. Another publication coming out, one went out in the Women's Studies American Journal. Okay. From the literature point of view, just start with what are organizational cultures. And this is a quotation from a publication from Pretz and Hopkins, talking about defined systems, shared values, interaction of organizations and employers and employees, what's the structure, the behaviors and norms, and what we take as really the culture. There isn't sort of a written rule of what we call organizational cultures, the understandings, how people interact, how everything takes place. And in engineering, as we know, it's male-dominated, and the culture is there to fit that male domination in a way. A number of other quotations and expressions that there's a need to recognize diversity and include women, how organizational cultures limit women's career progression, which will, again, it's worse in engineering. And there is that evidence that women are competent, if not as competent, maybe even more competent as technicians and engineers, as scientists. So why don't they go there? Why don't they stay there, even if they get the chance to go there? Lots of literature about that. There are a number of initiatives. I know there are a number of initiatives the last few years in the UK, but there are again a number of initiatives like in Australia and organizations that are taking like equal opportunities for women agenda and calling for diversity. Their sort of slogans uses slogans like "Women, men means success. We need a balance." So that's the messages there. Those from now on, it's more of the data that we've collected in our research. Talking about, in a way, much of what I'm going to present is we've sort of touched on, and Jo in her paper sort of touched on already. The culture, like the long hours, again, that's as we define them, and some industries are more demanding than others, and some, in a way, if you don't commit, as we've got the second quotation there from a female former civil engineer, she thought, oh, I wasn't really committed, I wasn't putting the extra work. Okay, you should really need to put what is required, you shouldn't put extra to be able to stay and progress in your industry, in a way. So led to her leaving. A number of the people that we interviewed actually couldn't put up with the culture, with the hours, with everything in the industry, and did leave. Again, it depends on what industry in engineering, and the first quotation there is from a male chemical engineer saying the chemical industry is tough, and it can be difficult for women as well. The second one says, no, it was okay in the water industry, there was more female, so they did reach that critical mass we were talking about, and it wasn't too bad, so the environment was fine for her. Civil engineer, and we're talking about structural engineers earlier, and some of them found it difficult, especially if they wanted to go on site. We have, there are a number of publications by Barbara Bagelhol, and she talks about very severe situations for structural engineers, bullying, sexual harassment, all sorts. She actually, one of the people she sort of monitored wrote a diary of all the events that happened to her during her work as a structural engineer. But it's not all doom and gloom. There are the good places, there are the good practices. And the second one, again, I had lots of incidents where I've gone home in tears, but we need to keep going, we need to be strong and maintain our existence in one way. We talk about the business case for especially diversity and the balance between the genders, and we did ask the people we questioned, what do they think? Is there a business case for having a diverse workforce? Some of okay, 4 means agree, 5 strongly agree with that statement, and quite many of them, they're sort of indifferent, and sort of, why is this view really? But majority, we hope that agreed with that statement as well.
Could you just tell us what 6 is?
6 is unapplicable. They didn't think right. That is applicable at all. That was a question to the managers and directors, and many of them were, the human resources managers. And again, as we see, there is the view stronger by the males in a way to say we need or that there is a problem about the gender segregation. And the women really indifferent, as we see, but we had a number of women in human resources, and if they don't understand the need for diversity and the need to balance that gender segregation, I think
those were human HR people.
Yeah, some of them are HR and mostly women HR. So if they don't believe that there is a problem, we have no hope in one way. So, okay, the numbers are not great in a way, not that high. We've got 9 females, 13 males, but they had that view. So we need diversity as well, because women bring something different in one way. There's the second quote saying, I find it unbelievable, and it was from a male, that there are no women, there are no ethnic minorities, or people from different sorts of groups, and it's mainly highlighting the need for diversity. So what can be done to attract more women in a way, to keep women once they start a career in the industry? We need to look at the situation of work-life balance, as I said before, and the long working hours. And this quotation from a female, she's a director, and saying her director never asked her for like awkward hours to work in her job. There are other people, like younger people, who don't have families, who don't have commitments, and okay, they probably can be paid maybe more, and they need the money more if they work like difficult shifts, like at night and so on. So that can be one way of looking at the work-life balance situation and giving different work arrangements. Again, to keep some of the women in, especially if they go on a break. This engineer, she said, when she had to go on a leave, a maternity leave, she wasn't given the option to come back because she wanted to take longer than whatever the usual period. And what she would have liked is to have had that option open for her. And when she started applying again, she couldn't really get a job. So that's the issue of returners and how to support returners as well. But one of the directors said, we should really keep the jobs open for such people who go on maternity leave, because it's better than sort of having to re-advertise and recruit from the beginning. Another question we asked about the seniority positions and the perception of women leaders and in high positions. What, in a way, first of all, most of the positions tend to be taken by men. Again, here, the men don't really agree that much. Women, of course, agree. Again, we found some sort of ignorance in certain ways from the men, saying, "Oh no, we are equal, we are diverse. We have no problem with not having, in a way, with women leaders in high positions." The issue of women and men are accepted in positions of leadership in their own company. Again, we strongly agree, comes from the male and less of the women, about 30%. They agree, okay, the women a bit more. Again, we found sort of contradictory opinions from the men and the women about women leaders and their perception and the way they've taken it, and this will be highlighted more in the quotations. One of the things really came highly, we did ask the question, what do you think the character of a leadership should be, or to be able to progress in the industry? What are the things that you need? Is it thick-skinned? Is it self-promotion? Is it networking with colleagues and feeling supported by colleagues and so on? The highest thing came as having self-confidence and self-promotion. And that's the book chapter I've just mentioned really highlights that point. And the second one is being supported by senior colleagues. And once again, having mentors, having people that you look up to, who support you and encourage you and help you on your way. That's very important. So we need to be assertive, get rid of the reluctance, blow our own trumpets. So we shy away from, oh no, I'm okay, sort of thing. But if it was a man, I'm brilliant. Sorry, guys. Sort of, yeah, we need to talk more about our achievements and what we do, what we can do. And the second one, we need more lady directors, and those who get there, they are better than the guys. So, again, the issue of having to act like a man if you're a woman in leadership, as you just said, in a way. And the first quotation, okay, have no family, no children, never consider that, because she wanted to stay in her leadership position. It's very difficult, and again, she found herself behaving like a man to be able to survive in that position. Once again, we need more women in it to be able to reach that balance and keep the femininity, keep the women as women, not to behave as men. And what we got here, one of the engineers, directors said, the worst thing happened was Margaret Thatcher. Sorry if you support her, but it wasn't me anyway who said that. Because she basically behaved like a man and didn't give a very good role model image to the women who wanted to follow her steps. So again, this guy couldn't really take it. Found it very difficult to work for a woman boss, because throughout his sort of growing up, university is male-dominated, where he worked first was male-dominated, and once he got a female boss through him. So sort of we need to train these people. Yeah, it's okay to have a female boss, to accept it and be supportive and helpful in a way. On the other hand, this director say, I bring in feminine side and I achieve a good balance, and that's what people around her liked in a way, because she's feminine, because she balances better in a way, that aspect. So, well, in general, in a way, as we see the different organizational cultures that need to be changes, the women leadership needs to change again, the perception of people of how women act or should act if they are in senior positions and so on. And just some recommendations or views to different levels, at different levels. The employers need to look at the organizational cultures seriously, change work environment and adapt work environment to the needs of their employees, flexible working, well-being. If you feel better, you do a better job. You feel more loyal to your work. So all that should be considered within the business case, rather than you've got to work all these hours, you've got to work hard, you've got to forget about your family, about your life, and this is all what you have to do. Do employee surveys just to take their opinions and see how things are going, what can be done better, what can be, in a way, sort of help them to do their jobs better. If they're leaving for a reason or the other, take interviews, exit interviews, why they're leaving, where they're going, is it going to be a better situation for them, have they given up altogether, and why. The employees, again, especially young ones, they need to know their rights and what they are entitled to. If they have a young family, they can work flexibly and so on. So there are certain rules that are given. And if they don't like it, go somewhere else. Try somewhere else that gives you better working conditions. And professional bodies, I don't know if they are as effective as they should be in influencing different cultures in different industries. We do have all sorts of professional bodies for engineering, and I don't know if they sort of take part and negotiate with all these industries on how things should be and disseminate good practice from things where things are working. Thank you, and if you got any questions.
Thank you very much. Very insightful.
Thank you.
Very interesting. There's some questions that are very pertinent.